Welcome to Diaspora Lounge. Thank you for joining us on this episode. We're always happy to see you. If you are a if you're a new viewer of our channel, thank you. We are glad that you finally found us. Hopefully, you become a regular viewer. Take a look in our video library to see what resonates with you, and please come back in the comments and give us your feedback. And if you're a regular viewer, thank you so much for your company. I appreciate you very highly. Now, today, as you can see in the topic, we're talking about the loss of Junior Pope and then the issue with everything that you can see in the title there. We really want to get into relying on hope rather than facts and the truth. And sorry about that. And I'm just going to play the intro and then we'll get into that discussion. Okay.
First thing you want to do is to regain your power.
And it takes two to tango.
Oh my God, you need to see what she's going through. The husband broke her neck.
Oh dear. Okay. Okay, so sorry. So can you hear me? I just got a message. And can you hear me? Please put on your mics. All right.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. So now Junior Pope, the actor that died recently, that was very, very painful. And I kept hoping that that wasn't true. I kept looking forward to seeing someone say that it was a prank, even though it would be a very bad prank. The thing is this, he died along with 4 other members of the production on the River Niger, which is the very big river. That thing is, when you hear river, if you don't know it, you will think river. It looks more like an ocean. It's a very, one of the biggest rivers in Africa. And these people drowned. And then they were not wearing life jackets. I believe that you have the background to this story. And I want us to get into this. I want us to look beyond that, to actually think about ourselves, because there are so many things that it looks like we do in Nigeria. And it looks like, to me, I may be wrong, but it does look to me like it's our culture and the way we were brought up that makes us be careless about things that we could otherwise be more careful about. And so we lose a lot. And that's really the reason for Diaspora Lounge, pointing us to the things that we don't think about, things that could easily benefit us and save us a lot of pain and misery. And yet those things seem to go over our heads, and we end up in so much pain that could have been avoided. Let's talk about Junior Pope, because you know what happened? He fell into the water. Those other crew members fell into the water, and these people were pulled out. When they were pulled out, I saw that video. They pulled them out, and I didn't see anybody taking any action like trying to administer any first aid. They just pulled them out, and then there was a crowd around them, and everybody was talking about what to do. People were making videos and putting online immediately. Then the next thing they did, they took him to a mortuary. They took the guy to a mortuary, and they probably took the others as well, because the mortuary, the mortician told them that he wasn't dead. And then the next thing they did, they took him to a herbalist to revive him. And then from the herbalist, where they saw that they didn't see life in him, they then took him to a hospital. And the guy who was narrating it said they were going there to give him oxygen. So can we talk about how we arrived here and why we are like this? Because I'm thinking back, and all through my adult life in Nigeria, I don't recall anywhere I worked where anybody talked about CPR. Even when I did my applications for jobs, I never saw anybody asking if I knew how to administer first aid, if I knew anything about first aid. And when I worked, there was no workshop or anything to teach us what to do in the case of any emergency. Can we talk about this for a bit?
Well, if I may go first. First and foremost, I think what happened with Junior Pope and some other members of the crew who were involved in the accident was a blatant display of carelessness. Carelessness. It's as simple as that. I've shot on that river several documentaries, several things over the last 25, 30 years. And I cannot even recall when I was on that river and never used a life jacket. Maybe my crew is small because I'm shooting a documentary. I've never really shot a film per se on that. I mean, along that, or everything I've done has always been documentaries. So maybe my crew will be like 5, 6, maximum 7. And I find it strange that there was already a what do you call, an arrangement made on ground. There's actually an arrangement. There's a place you can go and get life jackets. The Navy has one. Some private individuals also have life jacket renting facilities, safety facilities, or for life jacket, for tubes and all of that. So I wonder, and then you are traveling on an open canoe powered by a Yamaha or whatever engine. Even if they, because I heard that they collided with another boat, even if they didn't collide with another boat,
Mhm.
the waves from a bigger boat could have thrown them off, and they would have, the canoe would have capsized. So it was not even about the collision. The issue is that traveling in those kind of, in fact, if you are not going to use life jackets, it will probably be on bigger boats. You understand me? Where the likelihood of an accident is very minimal. Not on a canoe powered by those Yamaha engines. That even a bigger boat traveling maybe some 20 meters away from you, if you hit their waves at a high at a certain speed, it can throw you in the air, and in the air anything can happen. The boat can flip, or the canoe can, because I don't call those things they travel on as boats. They are canoes, fishermen canoes. You are riding in the fisher in the middle of an expanse of river that stretches 2 or 3 kilometers to the east and to the west. That means even if anything happens, no matter how good you are, except you are an Olympic long distance swimmer, you might not even be able to swim to the shore because it's so far. So maybe we need, first and foremost, I feel, one, carelessness on the part of the organizers or the producers of the film, and their carelessness on the part of the people who, sorry to say, because some of them are now dead, on the part of the people who will climb a canoe on that wide expanse of land, of water, and without any form of protection for themselves. Because first and foremost, your safety is first of all yours before it becomes the responsibility of another person.
Yeah.
Because
But
see, it first, I just feel that it first and foremost is carelessness. Now, from carelessness, we progress to ignorance. Do you understand me? We progress to, the truth about it. Yeah, you talked about first aid, you talked about CPR. Do you understand me? Why would the first thought that comes to anybody's mind after you pull out somebody who drowned in a river out, why would the first thing be to take the person to a herbalist?
well, they first went to the mortuary. They went straight to the mortuary, actually. But before then, they were standing around doing videos and posting online.
My take. Eh? I'm sure 80% of the people who stood around would have watched one film or the other.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sure 80%. Your American film, English films, European films, all kinds of films, Indian films, they've pervaded our environment over the last 2 or 3 decades. Majority of those people would, even if you have done CPR and you have done it crudely, maybe
Would
it
have
might
been,
even have
would have
saved
been,
his life.
would have seen, yeah, because we didn't see any effort like that.
Yes, there was even
Okay.
no
But
effort.
but but okay. Okay, Tony, give us your view. You're muted. You're still muted.
Um, am I good to
Yeah,
go?
we can hear you now. Mhm.
Yeah. First and foremost, my condolence to all the families that lost their beloved
Yeah,
ones.
it's not a very easy thing to lose people, to lose anybody at all, not to talk of somebody that is known. Whatever happened to those crew or to those guys, it could happen to anybody. It's not different from workplace injuries and workplace accidents. I work in a high paced, high risk job. Working over at the refinery, it's not an easy thing. Any little thing could it could be our last day at work. And so, what do you do? There is always what you call um,
PPE.
PSI. It's called FLRA, which is something you have to write down as against or preparation as against recognizing the
Danger.
odds,
Yeah.
the danger of what you are doing, and then how to mitigate those dangers. Now, these things, it's not that it's only written in paper. It's not that it's going to do it for you, but it's kind of like a sure reminder that, okay, I have observed where I am working. I have observed the dangers there is and possible accidents, possible things that could cause an accident. And these are things that I have written down to help mitigate or to help stop stuff like that from happening. Now, Akin was saying something like about 80% have seen all kinds of movies. Now, what does that mean? To me, in my own understanding, we have we all have this awareness of safety first before anything. And the thing with us Nigerians, I mean specifically, is that there's um always this get it done right away and just get the money going and then let's get to the next one. I have been part of a movie production back home. That was a long time. And I've seen how it goes, and it's more like why the rush? Why don't they educate or indoctrinate people about certain things? But it's just that spirit of let's go, finish this one now and be done. We've cut corners. This is how much that we're going to be getting instead of going the long way. Now, there's a big disparity between the Western people type of production or producing stuff or approaching a particular thing as opposed to how people that are not, when I say Western, forgive me, but it's what I have observed around here. But on the long run, let's just say educated approach to things like this, it all makes sense than just an illiterate approach to things. Yeah, I know I can do that. But in the end, you ask yourself, does that make any sense? What are we trying to achieve here? How selfish is what we are doing? How are we approaching this? Now, it has cost some lives. Now, this life that it has cost, is it going to make us stop and reassess and ask ourselves, shall we continue with this? Or shall we do this before something like this happens? One thing I love about where I work or the people I work with is if there's an accident, no matter how little the thing is, there's always a safety meeting. We sit down, we talk, and we try to find a way to prevent anything closely related to that from happening. And that's how workplace accidents have been reduced to the point that it
Okay.
has today.
You just mentioned something that I was just making a note about because Aki said that a lot of us have seen movies, and even if we don't have it in our immediate environment to learn how to do these things, that some of us have seen those things. And something that crossed my mind is that even if we've seen those things, something that we haven't practicalized, like here, I live in Canada. Here, at a certain age, at a certain grade in school, the students are taken and they are taught this thing. And in fact, I thought at about 11, they recommend for the kids to go learn first aid and CPR and all that because those kids may have little ones that they're taking care of and they want them to be aware of how to take care of, how to do these things. So they begin to push it into their consciousness. And every other year, you go and and upgrade that certificate, go for a refresher course, so that if there are new things that have been taught, people learn it. So ordinarily, even if I watch movies and I see those things, if I haven't ever had any close contact or done it at all, that could be an issue now, because when I get into a scenario where maybe I should do that thing, it's not going to ordinarily occur to me, because I haven't had any kind of practice at all with it before. I haven't had any brush with it before. So it may not be in my consciousness. So maybe what we can recommend is, why don't we begin to be more conscious about putting those things into practice, like putting it into our children in the society, in the Nigerian society, so that it becomes part of life, and then putting it into work as well, so that from time to time, in fact, organizations like here, there are certain things that if you don't have in place, you cannot run that business. So, but another thing for us is that in our country, even if they put those things and say you must meet these requirements, I'm sure they do. They probably do documents, but nobody is going to go back to go and check if they're actually doing those things. So the issue now becomes, we're not going to look at government because we know how our government works. It's going to now behove on us to be more conscious that we are the ones who are at risk if these things are not in place, and for us to be more careful. Before I speak for too long, let me let you go, Aki, and then I want to bring up some other points. You are muted.
That's okay. I was trying to unmute it. It was muting again. Now, what I meant was, despite our lack of preparedness. Do you understand me? Well, that's what I meant. I know that we're unprepared. Majority of people in the movie industry, in most industries, apart from maybe the oil and gas and maybe the health sector, apart from those ones, and maybe the critical sectors, some of the critical sectors, majority of the sectors of the Nigerian society or economy were largely unprepared for accidents and unforeseen circumstances. So I was saying what I said, knowing that we are actually unprepared, but I said despite our level of unpreparedness, you understand? That's why I said even if it's being done crudely, but the fact that you see somebody doing it shows that. But the level of ignorance and the level of lack of knowing what to do or remembering was so obvious in the crowd, and even in the steps that they took after you brought somebody. I mean, for anyone who has any form of education, you know that the first thing you do when you bring somebody out of water is first of all to get the water out of the person. And you can only
turn
do
the person upside down.
Yes.
Or no, maybe to
sideways.
You know what it is.
Sideways.
Turn the person.
The first thing, even if you're doing it, it's a different, because what you're trying to do basically is that you're trying to pull out the water from the person so that some measure of oxygen can go into the person and can, because the first problem is not the person's heart, neither is but the person's brain. Because the moment the brain is suffocated of oxygen, then you have a problem. Because even if you bring back the person to life, the person might never be cognitive, or there will be a lot of damage to the person's brain. But aside that, nothing was done. You understand me? And then the level of ignorance to say that if they took that person from there and they took the person to the hospital, I will understand. If they showed all of that ignorance around the river, I can excuse it. But if they now took the person to the hospital, I can then understand, okay, at least they took the right step. Then they now took the wrong step.
It was mortuary and then herbalist.
Are you a doctor to pronounce anybody dead?
Yeah.
You're not a doctor. You cannot pronounce anybody dead until somebody who is trained to pronounce the person, even if the person is not showing any vital signs, you still cannot. We have seen people who have laid down there like they're dead, and they are not actually dead.
Even if you don't know that that's possible, the first thing would have been better to go to a hospital rather than a mortuary.
Let the doctor say, oh, this person is dead, forget it. You first of all took the person to
because maybe you want to do your best, because sometimes even if you know that somebody is dead, you don't want to believe it and you don't want to accept it.
Yes.
So what you want to do is you want them to tell me, no, he's not dead, So you actually
Yeah.
want to go to a hospital and let
Those
them
are
tell you
those are natural things. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
The people who were there, they behaved so irrationally, and they even to the level of when we say, okay, we're not prepared, we're not this thing. Even at that level, even at that lowest level, any right thinking person, the next thing you want to do, you brought out somebody who has drowned. The first place you want to take the person to is a medical facility, no matter how small, whether in an infirmary, whether a nurse, whether.
Because you're hoping to hear that they can revive
Yes,
them.
that's the
Yeah.
reason why you struggle to bring them out in the first place. The reason why you brought them out is to save their life. So
Right.
you do everything to save their life, not to first of all confirm whether they are dead. So some of the actions did not make any sense. But concerning what you said earlier, the reason why we would not have CPR or most broader first aid activities in our curriculum is because if you look at our history, and when I tell people that be careful what you let slide, we have become a people who actually don't we show love when people are, when they are alive, they are doing well and all of that. But we have shown that we're a people who actually do not care about human life.
It's sad.
Yes, because if you look at the way people are being killed in Nigeria, the
Yeah.
reasons why they are being killed, the things that are leading to people's death, a
Yeah.
lot of them are avoidable. Let's even leave drowning and all of that. So there's a psyche that there's something that has crept in. It wasn't there 40, 50 years ago. But I think it really crept in there maybe from about after the Civil War.
Are you trying to say are you
Yeah,
trying to say that even if that nobody even thinks about these things because we don't really care about human life,
yes,
so
we
we
do
don't take those things
not.
forward?
We do not. Look at the way we're all in the Western world. Look at the way Look at how fast ambulances get to locations
The fact
of
that it's planned,
mishaps. Look
it's
at the way they
arranged,
treat
put in
human
place.
beings. Look at the way they will not start, because it starts from you take somebody to the hospital. They are telling you, oh, you have to pay a certain amount of money before they touch the person, and they can see that the person life is ebbing out of the person. It starts from there.
Yeah. So nobody has thought about putting
You are
anything in place because
Yes, you are
nobody
not
really
thinking
cares,
of
right?
saving lives. You
Yes,
are
they're
not
not conscious
thinking
of
of
that.
saving
So
lives.
that's why.
Here, they are always thinking of saving life. No matter how insignificant that life seems to be, they always want to save lives. Do you understand? They always want to. So it starts from there. Now, what you now do is that when you have that mentality, which is what they have here, that's when you now start putting things in place. Okay, how do we educate people to know what they need to do in the first instance of any mishap happening? Different kinds of mishap. This is just one of the mishaps.
Yeah.
The drowning. There are accidents. There are all kinds of mishaps that could happen that nobody prepared for.
Two things are crossing my mind. Is it possible that maybe because you see how when they say that how do they say prayer is the poor man's, what is it that people say? That thing that is supposed to say. So yeah, no, I'm not actually trying to take a jab
We
at
lump things that we're not supposed to lump on God. That's what we do.
because so it's almost as if instead of doing our own part, because I believe in prayer as well, but I don't believe in prayer without doing something that I can obviously
Prayer
do. Like
without works.
the food is before me. I can't be asking God to let that food enter my mouth when I have hands to take the food, right?
Abi?
And so two things now. So because the things that ought to be in place are being neglected, then people are now forced to live in a state of hoping and prayer in spite of even things that are within our control. And then if I, as a child, if I'm being brought up that way, where I'm just learning to when I need something, I just focus on hoping that it happens and I pray about it. And no effort is actually being made to put things in place for that thing to work, or for me to even think that what I can do is to actually start thinking of how I can make it work. There's so much focus on hope and prayer. And it means that if this pervades the whole society, we're really in trouble because we don't get to taking action. And even sometimes you will see something, it's clear that this thing is about to happen, but I'm not going to take any action because I'm simply just hoping that it doesn't happen. I'm so used to living a life of hoping. So that's something that we have to be very careful about. Otherwise, we're in trouble. So in our individual homes, we should start talking to ourselves and to our young ones to teach them to do different, to do have a life of taking action instead. And then even us here, do you know that my brother was going to take my kids to ride their bikes, and when he came, he was like, the shin guards, this, he wanted the knee pads and everything, helmet and everything. And because he saw something missing, he totally refused. He said no. Like he has become totally westernized, even better than I. So I'm saying that I'm also a product of that society where there are things that I am not even conscious about, even though I'm even living here. And I wonder, the three of us here, and I wonder if any of you have your CPR and first aid knowledge and certificates up to date, because if we're so used to this, I wonder how many Nigerian homes, if work has not forced you to do that, I wonder how many Nigerian homes and how many Nigerian families here follow these things up the way that we ought to, so that if anything is happening in our homes, we're prepared for an emergency. Hmm?
Um, let's say, like I myself personally, I wouldn't say I've updated my CPR. I have my CPR, but is it up to date? No. One of the things that decides our having this up to date is just work itself or where we're working. If the work demands that we have to have this right away, then
And
you
you
can
will.
count yourself, because all this thing takes time. You have to apply for the classes and everything, and
Yes.
very they are not very cheap, so it's a good thing that workplace is one of the things that actually help us to be in tune with this. What about those that do not work in places that demands that they have all the certificates? How
We'll
do
never
they do
think
it?
of it because it's not even in our consciousness.
Exactly, exactly. So we find that it's should I say it's luck? It's a lucky thing, an adventure, or what? It's just that for those, all I can say is that if you find yourself in a situation where you have to go where some sort of danger lurks, it's up to you to ask yourself, what are your preparations? How much have you prepared to really go through this? If I'm
I
going
wonder.
to a
I wonder if
forest,
we think about that because we're already adults and we are formed down. If we've been so
well,
used to,
common
we've
sense
been so
tells us
used
that as an
to
adult, if
carelessness.
I wake up at night and I have to walk into a bush at night, I have to get my lantern. I have to
Mm.
have the light, because you can't just walk into the thick darkness without having some source of light. The same mentality, the same thing. I am going into water. It's just that it's unfortunate thing that we are trained that way. Let me say, for instance, it's equally an individual thing. I remember years ago, before I even thought of coming to Canada, and we were over at the swimming pool. I mean, we still have lifeguards and everything. Thank goodness. Do I know what lifeguards meant that much? No. Do I understand what they do? Yeah. But then what happened? There was a guy, his brother was looking for him, and we're over there at the pool. Now, if I have to get in this guy's conscience or his state of mind, he has assumed that, wow, these people are there. There's this little boy, he just came out of the water. I can do it. So we have this, I can do it. I can't stand there for someone to laugh at me or whatever the thing is. And he jumped into the pool. And lo and behold, he couldn't get out. He was down there. And there were a lot of people out there in the pool as to know that this guy was missing. Eventually, we found him. He was down there. Well, we got him out. Yeah, it was too late. We tried to administer CPR, just pushing on his chest, but nobody dared put his mouth on his mouth because he was throwing up what do you call rice, whatever food he ate. So we're only pushing on his chest. We just push, 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 and let him go a little bit and push, push. I was the only thing that we understood and we did. I never had a CPR training, but these were things that we saw on we see on TV, and it's like maybe this can. But where am I coming from with this? Mentality of people, peer challenge. He can do this. I can't do this. I think I can do it. And then blindly you jump in, and lo and behold,
let's put it like this. Going forward, hopefully this conversation. You are muted, Aki.
Okay, what I wanted to say, I mute because there's a bit of noise around.
Right,
The house is full, yeah. But what I wanted to say was the fact is, and is the most painful part, is that there were 1 or 2 or 3 people that were on life jacket inside that boat.
Oh.
Yeah, the producer, the DOP, and then maybe one other person was on life jackets. So and that is the annoying part. The life jacket was so expensive for the producer to provide for people she had employed on the production, but they were not expensive enough for her to have and for her DOP to have. That's the painful side. Okay. Because if you could get a life jacket for you and your DOP, then you should be able to get a life jacket for every member of your crew. Or in the worst scenario, you reduce the amount of people so that, okay, maybe you can get the life jacket and just get the life jacket. Some people where you take them across, and then one person brings all the life jackets, you take some other people across. It will take more time, but you would have...
No, they can't do that because there's also the fuel that they're using to run that canoe, right? They're not going to take that kind of...
what I'm trying to say is that at the end of the day, this should be a lesson. Yeah, people are dead. It's unfortunate. Should be a lesson
for all of us.
You don't know another sad aspect. What? We do not learn lessons.
Yeah.
That is all. See, right now.
No, because we are used to hoping and praying.
With the amount of people, with the amount
of mentality.
People, with the amount of boats that have capsized, with the amount of people that have been lost, at least I can count this year alone. At least in the news, I'm not talking about the ones that didn't come to the news.
It's a mentality.
I've seen about 4 capsized boats this year alone. You will expect that, okay, there will be some form of infusion of maybe CPR or maybe drowning resuscitation techniques introduced into our educational curriculum.
Yes. Maybe we can start making noise for that. People can start making noise for that.
Yeah.
There may be something.
People must be knowledgeable. People must be knowledgeable in things that save lives. People must be knowledgeable in the things. People must be knowledgeable in things that save lives. You said what? Oh, you paused yourself.
Yeah, no, we have a caller who wants to say something.
Okay. We must sometimes I'm learning some things online.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Thank you.
And I'm serious about learning it.
Can we take a caller? Can you hold your thoughts on that? Yeah. Hello,
right.
Yes.
Hey, I just wanted to chip in 1 or 2 things on this conversation. Just the same thing with the Nigeria space. It's always been not lack of policy, but lack of enforcement. I for one, I know there's a policy in place which states that for every maritime user, you have to have your life jacket on you.
Yeah.
But shouldn't there be enforcers on scene to make sure that before any boat leaves the the station, that everyone is fully geared up and kitted? What are the penalties for violations of these policies? So the issue most times is not policy; it's at the point of enforcement is being compromised. People think, what, I can pay my way through situations, and in doing so, we are putting the life of Nigerians, at risk. Yeah. So if there was a proper enforcement channel on site, someone who inspects every ship leaving the dock to make sure that the right safety measures are in place. Do we even have a highway police that inspect these things? Do we have patrol police? That patrols the sea to see, okay, what, every boat going through, like, are they of the right safety measures? So so we can sit here all day, and talk about these things. But if every aspect of Nigerians are not geared in, are not willing to take ownership of their lives and of the process, we'll keep having the same accidents every now and then,
Right.
and we can put the blame on the government, on the police.
No, we don't even want to put the blame on the government anymore, because we can't rely on them. Is the truth.
But the point is that the government are the ones to provide the policy and also the enforcers.
We can start by ourselves.
And the government have to make sure that the enforcers are not compromised, because you as a government, you can make all the beautiful policies, you can make all the beautiful laws in place. If the enforcers get compromised, then it's useless.
Yeah.
It's useless.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that from start to finish, we have the right people running the show, from the start to finish. Because if there is a broken link at any instance in that circuit, the whole thing is gone to zero. You understand? So we have to begin to ask these questions. Who are those that are there to enforce these safety measures? Those people should be held accountable. Why would you allow a ship leave the dock without the people fully trained?
Yeah.
You understand? So these are things I as a person, I think, we need to focus our energy on. Who are the people on site that day, whose job is to ensure that ferries leaving the dock are in the right stance. So I'll be listening, and if I have anything to add more, I'll call in. Okay.
Thank you very much for that beautiful contribution. So based on that,
I even want to correct us. What they were in.
The canoe.
Was it a ship? It was a canoe.
Was a canoe. Yeah, two things crossed my mind when he was speaking. For us as Nigerians, we have a motivator. Money is our motivator. So somebody listening to this now, we know that we cannot expect or rely on the government to do something about this and enforce it and all that. Maybe somebody out there can look at this as a business venture, if that is what it will take to save some lives, and start thinking about how to do something about it. If you have the capacity, get some people to the drawing table, to the drawing board, and figure out a way to make it a business venture so that some lives can be saved, because we're not going to wait for government to come and do this. And secondly, here, the way things work here, there's a lot of, people say that something is amiss, and then they start coming as, no, we don't want our lives to be like this. Then community efforts are put together to make sure that something works the way that it benefits us. People can start to think like that as well, where this is concerned. Because today it's somebody that is not related to me. I didn't even know Junior Pope before this time. I didn't know that guy. But when I saw that thing, I was hoping, praying, please tell me this thing is fake. Tell me it's just, you are muted. You're muted, Akin. Yes. So today is somebody not related to you, somebody that you don't know. But if our society continues that way, you never know when it's going to be your turn, or when it's going to be someone that you love, So it's not okay to just, it's happened and we forget about it and then continue business as usual. We can start whatever. And even if it's only protesting, making noise about it from time to time, that some of us can do, let's do that. And then if we can, actually, we're saying something about studying. I don't know what you're trying to say. That maybe even if you don't have anything around you where you can go for CPR learning and first aid.
No, yeah,
I was saying a lot online now.
Yeah, I was saying that the truth about it is that there is no safety training. There's no safety education in our educational curriculum.
Yes. And here they do it at grade 11. It's a normal thing.
If we don't have the best...
age 11.
If we don't have the best hospital systems, you understand me? There's a lot that can be done at the first aid level where the first contact, where the people who come in contact with the victims first. There's a lot that they can do. So in a society where we don't have the best hospital, we don't have the best medical facilities, at least the least we can do, yes, is to let everybody be aware. And one of the ways to be aware is through education. If you infuse it, maybe a compulsory course at the penultimate year of maybe secondary school, which they call high school here. If you're able to infuse it, and is a course that you must pass.
So nobody goes without having some knowledge.
Yeah, so you have some knowledge, and whatever knowledge you have is in your consciousness. So even if you are not the perfect person at deploying that knowledge, but you can try your best. And sometimes your best might be good enough to save somebody's life.
Save somebody's life. That's awesome. That's beautiful. Okay, so now let's, on this topic, there's something else that I put there, and this is about us not dealing with facts and just dealing with hoping for the best. So I don't know if you guys heard about a gospel artist who had a baby recently, and that baby is, people online took it up and started shouting that this baby's face is exactly the face of a male gospel artist that she's close to and has worked with in the past. And they decided to throw accusations and rumors that this baby might be the child of that other gospel artist and not the child of her husband. And so they decided to make noise about him doing a paternity test to ensure that that baby is his. And I thought about it, and I was like, I don't know that they can be comfortable going ahead after today to have all these rumors going around about their baby. How are they dealing with things in their home? How can they go forward from this? Is it people's business at all to even talk about this? And now they're talking about it because these are public people, public personalities. So how can they move forward from this? What do you see there? Have you know that story, right?
Yeah, I do. You see, one thing that is very, very strange right now is it's almost becoming a crime. Not even in Nigeria alone, but all around the world now. It's almost becoming a crime to be a public figure. As in somebody the public knows.
Yeah.
It's almost becoming a crime for anyone.
Like a danger, it's a risk.
Yes, because even aspects of your life that are not supposed to be scrutinized will be scrutinized. And it's sad, you understand me, if somebody can become so petty to the level of, even if you see a resemblance between the child of someone who is legally married. It's not like they have an arrangement. They are legally married. You understand? And there are people in the church. You understand me? I mean, even if you see people look like you can have somebody who is a child of another person, and the person looks like another person who is not even directly or indirectly related.
In that vicinity.
Yeah, you understand. But people look alike. There's nothing the worst you can do is look at the child and say, okay, does the child have similarities with the parent, any of the parents? Then you can douse there's nothing wrong in the thought coming up in anyone when you see resemblance, but
it's natural, right?
Point, yes, or putting it out in the public. And because people have become so selfish with their feelings and with their utterances that they do not care about what happens to the people they are talking about.
But you know what?
They do not, hold on, they do not say to themselves, okay, do I have any evidence to say this is what is happening, even if though I have thought about it? Now, what will my statement
impact these people?
Impact in the lives of those I am talking about? Do you understand me? And social media has just made it possible for people to make frivolous accusations.
And that's why they were doing those videos when those guys were drowning, because social media, they need to draw attention to their content, right? So everything is done for the littlest thing that you come across, you want to go and push it out.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's one of the things. But anyway, so they've done this now. So why when I saw that, people were talking about it, and I was in groups where people were also talking about it. What did you think, thinking about the way we handle things in our society? When I saw it, I was like, well, that's simple to solve. This isn't something that they now need to be losing sleep over. But if you think about it, how are they going to sleep when, as a man, if I know that my little baby looks like the friend, the male friend of my wife, I know that I'm not going to have peace. So can we do something to put this to rest? What would you see or think in this situation? Because some people said let sleeping dogs lie, and I'm like, there's no way to let the sleeping dog lie, because there are times
It's
when you let
already it's
things
already
lie,
in the open. Yeah.
it's already in the open. So we've gone beyond letting sleeping dogs lie, because this thing is already everywhere. How is a man going to be feeling when there's an issue like this?
In today's world, hey, in this day and age, it's a two-way thing. There are, like I've always thought, matured minds are different from premature minds, and the mind can be very deceptive as much as it's very dynamic. To one man, if somebody has been looking for a kid or a child to call their own, they wouldn't, I don't think that story would even leave that house. The man will happily welcome the presence of that child, irrespective of whether it's his or not.
Hmm.
On the other hand, a different person might not take it lightly like the first guy did. It's just going to be something that has to be exposed to social media. It's something that has to give him that that egoistic boost that
Ego. Hmm.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
it would be only natural for somebody to, if
yeah,
somebody
well,
doesn't mind, no problem. But if somebody minds, we can't
yeah.
fault that person. I
So
think.
so the things that yeah, it's either a social media factor thing, just like yeah, I caught her. Look, see now I want to tell the whole world that she is this. It's not any different from the woman that was accused during the time of Jesus Christ and was about to be stoned to death. It's more like if you think that you've never done wrong, be the first to cast the stone. People of today, they do it a lot. But
Okay.
My
on the
take.
other hand,
Okay.
on the other hand, if you find yourself in such situation and you're very worried, just go for a DNA test. That's the only thing that will put your mind at ease. You have a DNA test. If it points that the child is yours, then be happy and accept it. And if it's not yours,
Just
well, that's where you can now start asking the other question, like, how did this happen and what is going on? But my little advice is if we follow things maturely and not just the way the world is acting today, if we follow things maturely, I'm sure that we can always come to a compromise, even if it's not yours.
maybe I get what you're saying, but the truth is that we don't all have the same level of maturity, because even if I am mature, maybe my partner is not that mature. So that's where therein
No,
lies the problem.
what I wanted to say is that actually in such a situation, we should not gloss over it that it's a difficult situation for the man. Do you understand? And also for the lady. I mean, uh, if her hands are clean, you understand me? I'm just quote
Yeah.
and unquote. If her hands are clean,
Yeah.
even if her hands are not clean, it's still a difficult situation for the lady also. But a
Mm-hmm.
more difficult situation for the man. And in question is the pastor. This person is a pastor. So what we're saying basically is that it depends on the relationship that they have. Do you understand? It depends
Yeah.
on the relationship that they have. Because uh, if their relationship is closely knit, then there's nothing to worry about. Because even looking closely at the baby actually looks more like the mother. That's the truth. The baby looks more like, because I look close. You know, when people bring things up, you want to clear your own mind. You don't want to follow.
I know what you're saying. I saw that too.
I looked at the baby.
Resemblance too. I thought I saw that resemblance too.
The baby is just that maybe because the eyes of the baby was a bit hollow, like that of the.
No, the baby does look like the man. It does look like the other man, but the baby also looks like the mother.
So, what I'm trying to say is that the issue has to do with what kind of relationship do the two people have in question. That's the two people who are involved with the baby, as in the mother and the father. It depends on the relationship that they have. Yes. If it's a relationship where the father knows or believes that he's the father of the child, then there's no issue. But if it's a situation where the father has been having doubts, maybe, you know, people have doubts and they don't say it. Maybe with the timing of a pregnancy.
Yes.
People have doubts. People have doubts about the timing of the pregnancy of their spouse.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but because they know that they've been having maybe sexual intercourses with the partner, they cannot really speak out.
Because there was no opportunity. There was no opportunity for.
Yeah, if you're sleeping with someone, what else do you expect them to be? Pregnant. Do you understand me? So, yeah, you understand me. So they will not, but they might say, but they will just, you know, and also it depends on the relationship between both of them.
But that notwithstanding, though,
yeah,
because that notwithstanding, because me, I'm thinking of I'm just imagining, like you said, depending on the relationship between them, even if you trust the person, like if I was married to Tony and you and I are very close, and my baby comes out looking like you, right?
Yeah.
Even though, yes, you can look at me. I mean, I'm the mother of the baby, so there will be resemblance to me. But the baby looks like you.
Yeah.
Even though Tony trusts me, he's not going to be at peace, especially when people are throwing this thing all the time, throwing it all the time.
But you know something?
Yeah.
A lot of us have our senses exercised. We have been through life. Mm-hmm. I have seen children that didn't look like one, maybe like, okay, the child comes out, the child is looking like the mother.
Any of the parents.
Mm-hmm. Any of the parents, precisely maybe the mother. Do you understand me? And then you think maybe the father, I don't know whether the father has it, but as the child grows, you see that the child is looking like the father. I have seen it.
Are you suggesting that?
No. I've seen it severally. So
yeah, we all know that.
Sometimes babies' looks are not the true judge of
because babies change a lot.
of who the child belongs to.
People change lots.
Yes. I've seen babies. I've even seen babies who never really look like any of the parents.
But I want to ask
by age five, they start looking like one.
I want to ask what I think is very pertinent here. You know, if we go like this, like because I think that if as a man, if I have this situation, why is it not the right thing to just put everything at rest by taking the DNA test, by doing the DNA test?
That would be their decision.
Because I sit here and my cousin sends me something of, oh, this man just discovered that his 3 grown kids are not his. Okay. And I think to myself, I don't think I want to even be entertaining these stories anymore, because a lot of the time when these things happen,
you just want to
something, huh?
I said you just want to quell all the.
No. A lot of the times when those things happen, something may have been in existence that would have given the person reason to ask himself questions. Did anything happen? Is something happening here? But we ignore those things. And that's why I put it under this topic, right? So in a situation like this, as a man, there is no way that my child looks like another person, that it's wise to me that I will just say, okay, because I trust her. Yes, because I trust her. In fact, why don't I go and do that so that all of us can have our minds at peace?
And everybody
There's nothing wrong with that. But the question is,
and so that everybody can shut up.
Because otherwise we won't be hearing these things of after the kids are all grown, all of a sudden you find out that this person is not their father, and then he's killed the woman. Or at that point, Is he going to start afresh to start having children? I think that this is really what I would say to my brother or anybody, or if I were a man myself. But the question is, the woman will now say, you don't trust me. Why would you? Because if my hands are clean,
yeah, I'm more
and
concerned.
you tell me you want to do a test.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about what it does to their relationship. You don't
Yeah.
see marriage is based on trust.
Yeah.
You know, and until you have clear, incontrovertible evidence of somebody breaking that trust, the worst thing you can do is to doubt their trust. Until you have a baby's face is not an incontrovertible evidence.
Yeah.
The way a baby is looking as a child is not an incontrovertible evidence, except you have something more concrete. You understand me? That you can hold on to and say, okay, for this, I think I cannot trust you, or I trust you, but let me just clear my mind. But it's not a baby's face.
Okay, what you're trying to do is not to create a situation where the lady feels bad.
Yes,
that you didn't trust
because
her.
at the end of the day, if she's not done something wrong,
yes,
and you go ahead with the DNA, and
I think I have a solution. I think I have a solution.
around that you are still the father of the child, you have destroyed something that is
no. I think I have a solution, because
you have destroyed something that is needed for that relation, because beyond the child, there's still a husband and wife relationship that is meant to last long. And
you know what?
Giving it a rocky foundation.
No, I think we can avoid that. We can actually avoid that, because problems require us to brainstorm for solutions, right?
Yeah.
In a situation like this, instead of saying she's going to be hurt because she's going to feel that I don't trust her, which is valid, very valid. But how about the fact that this baby may not be my child, right? So that we can put this to rest, so that I can say, because when I don't do the DNA test, and my reason is because I don't want to hurt her, that is all good and fine. But what about me? Because everybody involved should have peace. We can't sacrifice one person's peace for the other, because the way it's coming to my mind is, I think that we can find a solution here that doesn't hurt anybody. Because as a man, I can say to my wife, I know that this is your baby because it looks like, or this is our baby because this baby looks like you. It doesn't have to look like me, because kids can look like any of the parents, right?
Yeah.
But so that we can quell this, so that people can stop talking, let's
do a very simple situation also.
We do the DNA test. And the funny thing, even if we do the DNA test, and we do find out that that baby is not his, he doesn't need to come and tell us anything, isn't it? But he needs to do that for himself, because now they don't owe the public the answer.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? But this way, once he has solved that, and he now knows, yes, this baby is mine, and he tells his wife, we're doing this because we need to put it to rest, so that people will stop talking about you. And after this, I can even sue anybody who talks about you. I think that this way, both of us will have comfort and rest. Because if we leave it, this is how this man will go to sleep.
Hang over your head for
the man will go to sleep, yes. And I because what I keep asking myself is, and this is the beginning of a marriage, and then these things will be happening, and you don't know where it's coming from. When the man will behave in a certain way, or she does one thing, or even if she gets stuck in traffic or something, this is when you want to say talk about letting sleeping dogs lie. That's how we have to really think about it. If I do this and I sweep this thing under the rug, is it really going to give us peace? You understand what I mean, right? So
no, I do understand. I do understand what you mean. Actually, see, going to do for a DNA test is actually the most sensible option to take. You understand me? But as I say to you, the relationship between these two people is different from another relationship with these two different people, another two different people. So that's why I'm saying that if any DNA test is going to be done, it has to be done with the consent of both parties. Yeah, as in, because the truth about it is that the possible damage that they could do to their hold on. The possible damage that they could do. See, yes, as much as it is overrated, you understand me? As much as it is overrated, as much as it is overlooked, yeah, in relationships, in especially
Mm.
marriages,
Mm-hmm.
you understand me? Trust is a cardinal thing.
Mm.
And the moment there's an idea of, yes, couples come under situations where their trust is being questioned, yes, but when trust is questioned to the point of view of to the point of ownership or paternity of a child,
They can't help it because of the
it's a major,
situation.
yeah. And
Yeah.
see, it's what I'm saying is if the situation emanated from within them, between the two
Exactly.
persons, you understand me, it will make, I mean, everybody will just, okay, I will prove my innocence, I'll prove, you understand me, it's easier that way. But when it's an external factor based on an illusion, because for me it's an illusion, how a child looks in the first 3 years of their life is almost, because
Okay,
yes, they can,
you are saying this because you didn't face this.
no, what I'm, see, it's not about facing it,
No,
it's
no,
about
what you're saying is
it's
true.
about
What you're saying is true.
putting yourself in the shoes of other people. It's
Yeah,
about putting
that what you're saying is true, but do you think he will sleep well? That's the question.
that
Do you
depends
think
on
that
him.
if she gets stuck in traffic and if she travels, that he will be at peace?
That depends on him and what they have. That depends on him and what they have.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to. So that's why I said no two couples are the same. If he feels insecure, then I will advise that as in, if he feels insecure, as in the guy, if he feels that okay, something might have gone wrong, I will advise that the wife allows them to go and do a DNA. You understand it? But if he feels confident in what they have, on what they've had, and she has never shown him any reason to suspect any form of infidelity or something over the time that they have gone out, then there's really is no point. That's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
If there are examples of infidelity, whether minute or whatever, in the course of their going out or in the course of their dating or in the course of their marriage, you can, yes, you have grounds. You understand? But if there's none, then I will say to him, relax. Time will tell. Time will tell.
So you will
Because
take the risk
whether
of
you know,
time.
yeah, whether you know it now or you know it later, you understand. Anybody that is practicing infidelity, they don't suddenly stop. It's there. So even if they pipe low, it will still rear its head. So what I'm trying to say is that at the end of the day, sometimes you can disturb the what do they call it now? Is it honestness or what? I can't
Yes.
remember how to say it.
I think yes. If you can decide with honestness unnecessarily and create more
Yes,
issues.
that's
But
what I'm saying.
I think
And
this one will solve it rather than creating
it
it.
is based on an outside. It's not something between you two.
Oh, but you can't overlook that now. But okay. But I see what you're saying, right? It's just that that's why we all think differently, right? Because for me, as the woman, even in this situation, I would, unless I have done something, I would understand it if my husband said, let's do this so that we can rest it for you. If he doesn't come and say, I want to do it so I can have peace, right?
That is you. That is
Yes,
you.
yeah, that's what I'm saying
That's
because
why
we
I say
all
it
think
depends on
differently.
the two of them. Who are
Right.
they? What do they
Okay.
have? That's why I
Right.
said so.
Okay. So let's end this one here. Right. Okay. Thank you for being with us on this episode of Diaspora Lounge. Hopefully we can take action on what we talked about here. The CPR, the life jackets, the first aid things. There's so much that we can do. We cannot always wait for government to come and take care of things for us. Even if we wanted to wait, even if we want to start making noise about it, we know that it's going to take us a long time to achieve something because we know the kind of government that we have, because we don't have that accountability and we don't have measures put in place. And even when election comes around, anything can happen. And so it's time for us to start taking things into our own hands, at least to sit at home and do some studies that can be helpful for us. So the reason we have Diaspora Lounge is to help us to think about things and ideas that can help us improve on our lives and to get better results. Thank you for staying with us. We're ending here now and we're going on to the next topic, where parents are fighting. How do we do what's in the best interest of the children, where they do not want a divorce? Okay.
Uzi,